is that they had to find their pace of grace. So I'm going to give you 3 points. How do you find your pace of grace? Point number 1, you have to keep the promise preeminent. You have to keep the promise, and this word preeminent means in front of you. You have to keep it first. You have to keep it out in front of you. I want you to see what God told Joshua. They come up to a land where they are the first generation that actually gets to see the promised land. I want you to remember the context of this story. The people that were there before them were their grandmothers and grandfathers, and they were led by Moses. And Moses brought them out of slavery, and they went into this wilderness because God was trying to work on their heart. And they took an 11-day journey and turned it into a 40-year death. Because they wouldn't stop complaining about the process God had them in. It kind of sounds like us. God, why am I at this job? God, why can't I move out of this house? And God said, you keep complaining, you'll die there. I'm trying to work something out of you and work something into you, but you keep complaining about where I put you. Would you please be quiet and work through this process? You do not have to consult your feelings to move forward. Oh, somebody came just for that. No, God doesn't care how you feel. Comfort and growth do not go together. And never will. And so he's asking you, will you obey me and will you move forward? And Joshua's parents and their descendants weren't able to. And so now they're standing in the promised land that they've been hearing about all of their life. And they come up to this fortified city. A wall back in the day, the wall that was around Jericho was their protection. So they literally come to their promise and it is shut up. It's closed. And I want you to see what God says to Joshua when he comes up to the place that he's supposed to live in and he's supposed to conquer, and it's closed. Look at chapter 6, verse 2. He said, but the Lord said. And I came to encourage somebody. Let me stop right there. Because I know you tried before, but the Lord said. And I know you tried to have a baby before, but what did the Lord say? And I know you tried to get into that college before, but what did the Lord say? Literally, look at what he gave to Joshua. He said, I have given you Jericho. I want you to understand the emphatic language that God is using right there. He did not say, I'm going to give you Jericho. He talked to him as if it was past tense. He said, I know you're looking at an obstacle that is bigger than you, but it's already yours. Do you have the faith to believe me even when you're looking at a shut door? And I came to encourage somebody who's been looking at shut doors, who's been looking at obstacles that are bigger than you. God is not saying, if you do this, I will give it to you. He said, I've already given it to you. I've already called you. But you have to remember the promise. Joshua had to keep that promise in front of him. He had to look at Jericho and say, God said he's already given me that. Some of y'all need to go back to that home and say, God's already given me that. You need to go back and speak to your family relationship. And he said, our family's going to be healed. God has already given me that. You needing healing for your body, you need to confess, God has already given me that. But God said. And many of us are looking, but they said. And not, but God said. My question to you is, what has God said to you? What has he placed in your heart that you need to bring preeminent in your mind? Because Joshua would have not had the faith to go after Jericho and follow God's instructions if he did not remember, oh, no. My family died because they didn't believe God. I'm the first one in my generation who's going to see the promised land. And that's some people in here. You've been in generations and generations of poverty, and generations and generations and generations of lack, and generations and generations and generations of lust. And God said, I'm taking you to a place your family didn't get to see. You're not even going to understand because you're going to speak to things, and I'm already telling you, I've already given it to you. But what happens when you have to go in faith when it's closed up? You have to remember what God has said. Can I tell you something very practical? Many of us need to stop focusing on the problem and focus on the promise. Some of y'all keep focusing on what happened and why did it. No. What did he promise you? Well, I know I just lost this house, but God said that I was going to be able to live and be one that would be a philanthropist and give to other people. Focus on the promise. Well, I know we're infertile right now, but God said I would have a son, and I would focus on the promise. Well, I know that I just got denied to this school, but God said that I would teach one. Focus on the promise. Because when you focus on the promise, it'll give you faith to face your obstacles. Can I give you a practical step for everybody in here? If you want to practically find your pace of grace, what you need to do is post your promise somewhere. I want you to, no, I'm like literally, this week, I want you to find something or a picture that represents something that you're believing God. And I want you to put it somewhere you can see it all the time. I want you to keep that promise in front of you so that when the walls look like they're shut, you need a happy marriage and y'all will always fight like this. Post the happiest picture of y'all. No, do you hear what I'm saying to you? You got to post the promise and you got to keep it in front of you. Because as a man thinketh, Proverbs 27 tells you.
Come on now. Come on.
So you've been focusing on the defeat and it hasn't come. So Joshua had to look at the past of what his parents didn't do and look at the future of what was in front of him and still believe. I'm coming to tell you today that no matter what's behind you and no matter what's in front of you, you have to, somebody say, still believe.
Still believe.
So this is how he started to find his pace of grace. The second way that you find your pace of grace, you let God set the pace. You let God set the pace. So many of us are out here trying to do what we see and what we think God has for us, but we're making a plan on our own. So it's like, oh God, you want me to be a CEO? So now I'm going to strive and I'm going to make a plan and I'm going to do this stuff. Joshua didn't do that because he could have gone and he's like, I got my army. These are some big, strong dudes. What we're going to do is we're going to climb the wall. We're going to jump over. We're going to yak, stab some people. And then we're going to take over. And what he did was what all of us need to do. He went and consulted God. See, because many of us are struggling with plans that we made right now. Plans that we didn't consult God with. We're married to people we didn't even ask God. Now, you in it now, just calm down. We got counseling and all kinds of things for you right now. But hear me. We've made so many plans without letting God set the pace. Look at it in verse 3. God set the pace for them. He said, now what I want you to do, and I can just see Joshua like, yeah, God, I'm ready, boy. This is the promised land. We here. We see it. Wow, man, we're about to take over. He said, what you want us to do, God? Just tell me. Are you sure you're ready for the instructions I'm about to give you? Because your training didn't prepare you for what I'm about to take you through. The pace I'm about to set is not going to look like anything anybody else is doing. He said, this is what I want you to do. Joshua, he said, I'm ready, God, whatever you want me to do. I want you to march around the town once a day for 6 days. Hold on. That's funny, God. I don't think you heard me. I said, I'm ready to take over Jericho. We're ready to come on. I got my boys. Let's go. He said, so I want you to walk around the city one time a day for 6 days. And then I got something else. Okay, and so this is where you want us to come in and suplex somebody and be able to make it happen ourselves, right? Okay? He said, no. On the 7th day, I want you to walk around the wall 7 times. I want you not to say a word. And then on the last time, I want you to blow some horns. And after you blow horns, everybody shout at the top of their lungs. You really want me to go back and tell the whole children of Israel that we're about to walk and blow horns? But see, what you have to realize is God's saying, the story I'm trying to write in your life, it's a story that gives me glory. If it made natural sense, then you can take credit for it. He said, I'm so strong and mighty that I will take the foolish things and I will confound life. I will take something that has nothing to do with what you think you're doing and I will make it fall at your feet. But you have to let me set the pace. If you set the pace, you sustain it. But if I set the pace, I give you victory every time. Some of us in this room need to go back and consult God and say, change my pace. Because I've been making plans without you. I've been starting businesses without you. I've been doing things without you. And today, I'm tired of providing for myself. I am tired. I am broken. I am lost. God set the pace for me. And see, pace has to do with tempo. It has to do with the repetitive time we do it. How many people have hands? Put your hands up in the air like this. I mean, participation, everybody. right there. Okay? Everybody clap for me. Okay, that was beautiful. How many people have a favorite song? Like you got a favorite song, like it's your jam. Okay, this is what I need everybody to do. I want you to start clapping at the pace of your favorite song on the count of 3. And I want you to do it loud, okay? I want us to act a fool and hear your favorite song. Sounds like, oh my God, Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber. Okay, listen, figure it out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Everybody clap, clap. Why was it a hot mess? Because all of us are trying to do our own pace. And what's happening is we all have a different race and a different pace. So if somebody was trying to figure out what pace they were supposed to go at, looking at everybody else, they would be completely confused.